Hey everybody, it's Anthony from Power Tools, and I'm here today to show you how to import a batch of contacts into your contacts. So basically what you're doing, what the general scenario is, the teacher wants to create a group of parent emails so that it's easy to go into your Gmail and just email your parents from a particular block or period or something like that. And easily just pull up all those email addresses and send them a quick email. So what you're going to do for that is you need to get your information from your student information system. In our case, it's called iPass. And in iPass, there's not a super easy way to gather that information. It's basically hunting for each individual student in your classes, going through their biographical information and gathering the parents' email addresses from there. So once you've as you're going through that process, the easiest way to do that, in my opinion, is to create a spreadsheet. So that's what I have done here. So basically, I've already taken the time to go through my student information system, find each of my students and their parent email addresses, and actually I was trying something here which didn't work, so I'm going to just delete that so that gets out of there. So basically I have their first name, their last name, and their email address. My recommendation is that you often know your students better than your parents, and so I would suggest putting in your student's first name and your student's last name here. And you can have multiple contacts with the same first and last name. So if a student has multiple parents, you want to include all the parental email addresses in your group, you can do that. You can have Daisy Duck and then Daisy Duck again with a different email address here, that's fine. So basically you're putting in all this information. So student first name, student last name, parent email addresses here. Once you've filled out this whole spreadsheet, you're going to go to File, and you're going to go to Download. And what you want to do is you want to download it as a CSV file, a comma-separated value sheet. This is the format that Google Contacts is going to read to import all the information. So I'm going to download as a CSV. So I'm going to click that. It's going to go right into my Downloads folder. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google. And remember, the Google Contacts are in the grid here. So it's in the waffle. So we're going to click on the grid and go to Contacts to open up Contacts. So once I open up Contacts, you're going to see my list of contacts, which is very bare right now because this is just my kind of testing account. So I have my contacts here. And when you have no contacts, you have this nice little button here said Import Contacts, but it's also down here on the left. If you have a lot of labels, a lot of groups, which I do not, then it's going to be further down here. Your labels are going to come first. So what we're going to do here is we're going to import. All right, and like it says here, to import contacts, select a CSV or Vcard file. Vcards are individual contact cards that you might notice that you have on your phone. That's not what we're using. We're using CSV files. So I'm going to select the file. I'm going to click on Select File. So bring me right to my Downloads folder. I'm going to click on the CSV file. This is the most recent one here, Class Emails. And I'm going to click Open. Once I do that, it should show that it's been loaded here, and I'm going to import. When I click Import, it's going to magically add all those email addresses here. What it does is it creates a label called Imported on 9/11. So I would recommend importing by class. So you know that all of these people in this group are your class. So now instead of calling this label Imported on 9/11, we're going to click the Edit button to rename it. And I'm going to call this Period 3 Science. Save, or however you're going to distinguish this group. If you have different blocks that you teach, that's fine. If it's just different subjects that you teach, that's fine too. Whatever works for you. And there you go. Now you have a nice little label called Period 3 Science. So now when I go to Gmail, it might take a little bit of time to synchronize. I'm going to refresh just to kind of hope that it kicks into gear. So when you go into Gmail and you click Create, you are going to be able to select that entire label to send them an email. Or compose, I'm sorry. So I'm going to click on Compose. It's going to bring up my Gmail composition window. Just a second. We'll try again. There we All right, so I have a new message. I'm going to just start typing in that group, period, 3 science. And see it fills in right there, and it's going to give me all those email addresses. A note about this, see how I have it in the to field here? Generally, when you're sending out mass emails to your parents, you want to not have them all see each other's email addresses, just for confidentiality reasons. It's not an enormous deal, but I know most school districts like you to BCC all of your parents when you're sending out a mass email. So I'm going to click on BCC, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing, period, 3 science, and it pops right up there. So those are all going to be BCC'd, so they're not going to see each other's email addresses. And generally, I like to do 2, and I'll put my own email address, which I'll just do my test one there. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, then you compose your email as necessary. And that's the end of that. If you have any questions about that, or if you're not understanding that, please let me know. I'm happy to help out or clarify in any way that I can. Otherwise, you guys have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.